everybody, tudo bem? How are you? So today we're going to talk about numbers in Portuguese. We're going to go from 0 to a billion. So it should not be that difficult. If you know Spanish, maybe it's very similar. Even if you don't, most of the numbers follow a pattern that you can learn very easily. So you can then talk about money or how much a bill is at the restaurant or really whatever else you want to do with numbers. So let's get to it. So for our first set of numbers, of course, we have 0 to 10, right? So 0, uma, I'll explain why there's two, dois, duas, três, quatro, cinco, seis, sete, oito, 9, 10. 0, uma, dois, duas, três, quatro, cinco, seis, sete, oito, 9, 10. 0, uma, dois, duas, três, quatro, cinco, seis, sete, oito, 9, 10. So right here, for 1 and 2, you see there's different ones, right? Uma, dois, duas. Masculine, feminine, right? So you can say carro, masculine, or uma casa, right? Dois carros, duas casas. So just masculine, feminine, and it's only for numbers 1 and 2. There doesn't exist masculine, feminine for any other ones, okay? So now numbers 11 through 20. So 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15. Oh, how convenient. Someone's banging a hammer while I'm doing the video. So after 15, after 15, the pattern changes a little bit. 16, 16, 17, 18, 19 e 20. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, as we continue, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Ok. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 100. Now, how do we say a number, for example, like this? 33. 33. 33. Same pattern, so how would you say a number like this? 21, right? Or uma, if it was a feminine word that you're talking about. Or like this. 88. Okay, very, very simple. There's a pattern to follow. And I'll give you one more. What if it is like this? So, if you're talking about numbers that are, have a tens value, the 30, and then have a ones value, all you do is say the number for the tens value. So, for example, 30, and then you see E, which is and 3. So 30 and 3. 33. 88, 88, 80 and 8. 103, 103. Okay? And you actually notice that sin is 100 exactly. So if it's something else, like 101, you'd say cento, 103. Okay? Let's move on to the next section. So we know how to do 100, right? 100 is 10. Okay? So, how about 200? 200 or 200 if it's feminine, right? So that'd be 200, 300, 300, 300, right? Okay, so here's something that you should notice. So in the very first slide, I talked about how there exists two forms for dois and duas, two, right, and one, and uma. And in that situation, those are the only ones that have multiple ways of saying masculine or feminine. That's not the case for something in the tens value, 30, 20, there's only one way of saying that. But however, if you talk about 200s, right, or 300s, or anything in the hundreds form, there is a female way of saying it, feminine way of saying for each of them. So, cuatrocientos, 500, 600, 700, one word, 800, 900, and then 1000. Okay. So just to point out something, so in Brazil and other countries too, and I know specifically not the United States, they actually don't use a comma to separate the 1000s place. They use a dot, a period, right? They use a comma to separate the cents, like decimal point, I should say. So you can have something like this, right? So that'd be 1003, and decimal place is 32, right? So if you see periods and commas and numbers, remember it's different from the United States, if you are in fact American. So let's review. 100, 200, 200, 300, 300, 400, 400, 500, 500, 600, 600, 700, 700, 800, 800, 900, 900, 1000, 1000. So let's talk about some larger numbers. So if you have 3,000, 1,000 is mil, right? Right. So if you have, so do this to make it easier. So if you have 3,000, for example, what would that be? 3.000. Very simple. And then if for a million, right, remember the dots there, would be milhão. Okay. And then you can have 30 million, for as an example, you can have 30 milhões. 30 milhões. So one way to remember if it's thousand or million is that we learned in the past that the AO ending in some cases means big, right? Big, like a nickname, for example. If something ends with an AO, or even just an object, if the name ends with an AO as like an adjective, it means bigger, right? So 3.000 is just 1,000. A million is a bigger amount than 1,000, bigger quantity, so then it has the AO ending. So milhão. Milhão. And then for multiple millions, it would be milhões. And that's also plural. If you remember, we talked about plurals a couple lessons ago. So for the very last one, how do we say billion? Right, billion. So, bilhão. Then plural, inci bilhões. Right, so it's very simple. Most of the things have a pattern, right? So hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. Hopefully you learned something. I always say that, don't I? But it's true, because I am actually here for you. That's why I don't charge anything, because I realize that speaking Portuguese has helped me a lot in life, and I think if it can help other people, gets them to Brazil, travel to Brazil, work opportunities, study, whatever the case would be, then it's completely worth it. All right, everybody. So thank you for your time. Check our website, check our YouTube channel. There's always new things on there. Have a great one. Take care.